Welcome everybody, Souldin and the Grin brothers here, and it's time for another episode of Tea Time. Now I'm going to warn you just now, if, I'll try to edit them out just in case, but if at any point you may hear the sounds of either my cat, the dogs, my nephew Charlie, my dad working possibly, but I don't think he's going to start yet until sometime after I've finished the recording, the sound of the laptop because it's overheating at the moment for some reason, or the sound of my Xbox One because I just downloaded, My Sure and I? So I'm going to be playing some Dead or Alive today at some point, even if it's only a small bit. Already had a bit of a go of it, but my Xbox One's still on at the point. I just turned the TV off so none of the sound's coming out. And it stops the TV from overheating. I have a lot of things in this room that overheat. In any case, for today's tea time, the tea I'm having is once again just lavender. Now, usually when I try my tea for a second time, I'll have it with milk, because usually a lot of the teas are ones that I recommend without milk. But for this one, because I felt that the Just Lavender tea was a bit too weak last time, I'm actually going to try the Just Lavender tea stronger. That way I've actually put more tea leaves in. I've finished off all the tea leaves I got from this nice little sample pack. And I let it brew for 5 whole minutes. So it should be stronger this time. Moving on then to the actual subject. Today's tea time is another Kickoff. And I'm actually quite impressed because it's actually not too long after the last Kickoff. To explain quickly, for anyone who doesn't know what a Kickoff is, basically I like to fund people's projects on Kickstarter. However, I am also poor and do not have a consistent job. So funding Kickstarters is very hard to do. As such, I will often contribute only like a tenner at most, usually, maybe £20 at most, to most Kickstarters. But then to help promote them further, I'll make a video like this called a Kickoff, which is a tea time video where I just basically help promote the video on my own accord. I'm not being paid or, asked to do any of this. It's all independent simply because I want to see the project succeed and I feel guilty that I'm not able to spend more money on it than I'd like to. In any case, today's Kickoff is for the game Flight of Light. Flight of Light is a rhythm racing game by James Coo of Crystalline Green Limited. James Coo is actually someone I do sort of know. I've seen him here and there on a couple of YouTube videos. For instance, when I've been commenting on the videos of, Alex Cosborn? I think he started putting a C in the name, but his YouTube name is still Alex Osborne. In any case, I've seen James Coo within the comment section there, and I've also seen James Coo amongst the comment sections of Nintendo Life, which I regularly visit. So, I've seen him about, and when his game was put onto Kickstarter, I ended up knowing about it through Nintendo Life. And just so happens to be, along with sort of knowing the guy, I happen to like the look of the game. As I said, Flight of Light is a rhythm racing game. By this, it's a on-rails game. To describe it, it's like riding a roller coaster. You're sort of on a sort of track, a roller coaster style track, and you don't so much move forward and backwards. You're always moving forwards. But your controls you have are moving side to side. And you have to move side to side in order to pass through coloured sort of like notes that are sort of floating in the sort of round by the rails. And as you pass through them, you speed up. And of course, these colour notes are placed along the rails, or travelling along the rails, in accordance with the beat of the music. So if you sort of move yourself from side to side in accordance to the beat of the music, then you'll go faster. And the more in tune you are with the beat of the music, the better you do, and the more likely you'll win the race. Yeah, there's actually quite a few colours. At least I think there was at least 6 or 7 different colours along the sort of rails from what I've seen of the trailers. Obviously there is because there's a Kickstarter campaign for it, which I will include a link down below to the Kickstarter campaign. But there's a trailer video for it, and it actually shows quite a few notes along this rail line. There's quite a bit of colour variation, even within a short sort of distance of moving from side to side. Even a small sort of difference will actually be a different colour note that you're going to pass through. And so you do have to be quite precise in order to actually get each of the colour notes, which helps because from what I've heard, from what he's explained in various videos, which I'll get onto later, the game does have one-to-one sort of like controls, and it's been sort of like worked on for a long time in order to ensure it has like as close sort of and accurate controls as possible. For the most part, I'll just kind of reiterate or summarise small bits from the actual Kickstarter campaign. You can probably and the campaign page. You can read these in more details, as well as comments from some of the musicians who'll be working on the game, as well as like further comments through various other videos that James Coote has uploaded. But there are 9 unique levels for the game, each with their own music, and with some differing in genre. For instance, the levels are split up via planets, and per planet you have a consistent genre of music. I think his comment for the forest level is it's like funk, but we'll use that as an example even if it isn't accurate. But say like one planet has, say, funk music, another planet could possibly have jazz music. It's all the same sort of genre, but per the different levels of that planet it will be a different track just based off that genre. But there are 9 unique levels in total. I believe there's 3 planets, so it's 3 levels per planet, but there might be more than that. I'm not 100% sure. The game will be releasing on Wii U, Steam, and PS4 early 2017. Well, provided that the Kickstarter funding succeeds, but it looks to be in a good state. By the time I'm uploading this video, it'll probably be like 14 days to go, but at the moment it's like a few days before that. And it's almost halfway there already. And from what I've seen of Kickstarters, most of their funding usually comes in the sort of first week and the last sort of week. So, in any case, it looks like it has a good chance of succeeding. And this is mostly to sort of help promote it a little bit more in order to guarantee its success, hopefully. Pledges are available from £1 to £17 in terms of the cheaper side of things. And they offer, and through those sort of rather cheap pledges, getting down to it, you can get copies of the game, copies of the digital soundtrack, as well as beta access. It's actually surprisingly cheap to sort of gain all that sort of stuff, so that's quite impressive. If you happen to have a lot of money to spend and want to be more involved with the game, though, there are dearer pledges ranging from, I believe, £200 to £1,500. Which will allow you to name various levels as well as to influence some of the level and world design. You'll have to go, obviously, to the Kickstarter page to see it in a more detailed explanation. Of course, again, this is just me quickly summarising a few of the points. You know, if you're interested, check it out, sort of thing. But a really cool thing that I found out that James Coote has been doing, even before he uploaded the Kickstarter campaign, is that he actually did developer diary videos. He's commented that he's been working on this game for 2 years, so there are actually videos of basically the alpha version of Flight of Light before it even became Flight of Light, before it even included a futuristic racing car and before it got the visual style that it's going for. But the developer diaries he has been done so far for the game, which he's done 3 so far, have all taken off from the point of where he's decided the sort of right path for Flight of Light, where he decided, here's a futuristic car, here's the roller coaster style design, here's the sort of style of worlds he's creating. And the 3 dev diary videos explore level creation, controls, and music implementation so far. He uploaded the music implementation one during his Kickstarter sort of campaign, so there's likely going to be another dev diary sort of during the Kickstarter campaign as well. But they're actually really interesting videos and sort of like really give you an idea of how this game has been sort of formed, and lots of interesting small tidbits are kind of revealed. For instance, the first sort of level that's designed is a floating forest island level. Kind of reminds me of like sort of Angel Islands. The whole game, in terms of graphical representation, gives me kind of a Dreamcast feel to it. Like it's that sort of level of sort of graphics to it. And the sort of floating islands does make me think of sort of like Sonic the Hedgehog sort of Angel Island sort of thing with the floating sort of foresty islands. Looks lovely. But the floating forest island, which serves as level 1, actually originally started as a Formula 1 track. I believe taken as from the Unity engine. And from there he's evolved it into being a floating forest island level, which is interesting. The controls are actually something that I'm quite interested in because, well, people who may have watched some of my videos may realise I'm a big fan of the Nintendo Wii. And the controls actually came about from the developer messing around with Wii remotes and sort of testing ways of using the Wii remote outside of just having the motion on screen be the exact same as to what you're doing. For instance, like raising a sword sort of thing. And then we came up with the idea, from the sounds of it, of one-to-one sort of tilting of the Wii remote in order to sort of like change what colour you have. This has in turn sort of evolved to the point where it also involves your ship changing direction from side to side. Originally, his sort of like test sort of idea for the controls was just a simple colour game where you'd have to match a colour that shows up on screen, and your colour would change based off where you had the Wii remote. But that's evolved into actually being a more involved game with the racing element and the rhythm element. And so your ship will, the way the ship indicates what colour you are is that its trail, a very easy to identify sort of trail of colour, will change as it's sort of like being tilted along the track. And so you'll know when you're sort of hitting the beat just right based off the trail matching the colour beat note that you're about to run through. But yeah. You start off with one-to-one tilting of Wii remotes, sort of steering the ship from side to side. But from sort of creating the game from the ground up based around the Wii remote, he's actually learned to develop it for other control systems and actually managed to make it work really well for these other control systems despite its ground up development and focus on the Wii remote. He's tested the Wii U gamepad's touchscreen, being able to use that, the PC mouse, being able to use that to tilt the race car, or race car, futuristic race car. So I don't know why I started thinking of ships. Suddenly, like, the game became a boat racing game in my head. Not sure why. And the PS4 6-axis or analog sticks may also be used for the PS4 version. He's actually in the midst of testing whether the 6-axis or the analog sticks would work better. It's possible that both could actually be an option. But he's sort of seeing which ones work well enough. But Wii U gamepad, PC mouse, and Wii remote are different sort of control schemes that he's sort of fully tested out for it. There's also sort of like some comment on regards to the music of the game and how, you know, he implements the rhythm sort of matching moments of the game. Apparently it's been done using beat maps to accurately map music to the gameplay, which means that, like with some of these rhythm games, you can download your own songs to play it to the rhythm. With beat maps, it makes it more accurate to sort of have the gameplay match the rhythm of a song, but it also makes it harder for anyone to download their own songs to it. But apparently, after the initial release, James Coote will be and the developer of Crystalline Green Limited will be working on making a beat map editor so you can add your own songs. Which is pretty cool. I probably won't use that feature because I probably wouldn't know how to actually download that via my Wii U. So, but it's still a fascinating thing that I'm sure a lot of people would be interested in. But yeah, Kickoff Flight of Light. Well, sorry. This is a Kickoff video, but Flight of Light looks to be a cool game. I like the genre blend. I quite like it when two genres are like sort of thrown together like this. And a rhythm racing game sounds very interesting and unique. It's got a very nice sort of visual design. It does really remind me of a Dreamcast era sort of game. And of course, it puts to great use one of my favourite sort of elements of, well, my favourite video game system. The Wii, of course, and the Wii remote. Ironically, it's coming out for the Wii U rather than the Wii, but that's probably because it probably wouldn't be able to be made for the Wii. In any case, hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll be willing to check out Flight of Light, both its Kickstarter campaign and its dev diaries, which I should hopefully include links within the summary below to both the Kickstarter campaign as well as to at least the first of the dev diaries. You know, with a link to the first of the dev diaries, you don't really need a link to the other two because you can find the other two via the same YouTube channel. So now then, I'm going to try out my strong lavender tea. I actually kind of preferred it weaker. It's a bit too strong. Doesn't leave nearly as nice of a taste in the mouth. Like, I can taste where it should be nice, but then it's got this really bitter sting to it. Not like a nice bitter taste, but more like a tastes a little bit sickly. In any case, that's my tea time kickoff for Flight of Light. I hope you enjoyed, and cheerio, everyone!